Well, folks. Good evening. Zach Weiss here. Across the Cavs. They did it. Somehow. That game was very stressful. There was a lot going on there. There was a lot happening in that game, and the Cavs came out, and they were up big, and the first half was looking great, and it's like, all right, cool. We got a 2-0 lead. No biggie. Let's go. Let's go. It's all good. But, well, there were some travels and there were some whistles and there was some contact. And yes, Broccoli, Yoho, the officials, the NBA refs were certainly a lingering factor in this game. I'm not normally somebody that points to the officials and says, you guys ruined this game. This was not evenly officiated. This was not this. Da, 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 da. But this was horrible. It was horrible. There was just so much that Miami was getting away with. And now, for starters, regardless of that situation, the Cavs should be good enough against a team like a Miami, who they won 27 more games than in the regular season. Miami, who is using lineups tonight that they haven't used the entire year. And because Jovic got hurt very early on before the deadline, or he got hurt not long after the deadline, and he was out since. This was Jovic's first game since February 21st. He played pretty much the whole second half. But kind of waiting for Miami to put him in. But the lineups they used, and going back to Larson, they didn't have continuity with these lineups. They just threw stuff together today. The Cavs were up big, and they couldn't hold it. Ty Jerome bounced back from his big debut by going 2 of 8. They got Sam 4 shots the second game in a row, and he played well. But DeAndre Hunter, 12 and 3, you need to get more. Remember when the Cavs got Anton Jamison back in the day, and you needed a lot from him, but he wasn't doing it? They need more. There's just they need more from DeAndre Hunter. He was their prize acquisition. Not necessarily saying yes or no that LeVert and Niang would be doing better. We don't know. They're not in this series. But seeing DeAndre play like that, you're reminded of what the Cavs got him for. Evan Mobley was solid, 20 and 6, but he didn't get the ball in the fourth quarter. Not sure what was happening there. Jarrett Allen finished the day with 5 shot attempts for the game. You probably want to get Jarrett Allen the ball maybe a little bit more when possible. They were not doing that. And he ended up with 26 minutes. Donovan Mitchell had 13 points through 3. And when push came to shove at the end of the game, he was tremendous. 17 big ones in the fourth quarter for Donovan Mitchell. That's what you want from Spida. Not Spider, Candace Parker. Spida. And this time was able to watch the Cavs broadcast, as you heard. Talking with Jared post-game last time, had the national. That's very cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Matt Devlin fan as a broadcaster. He does all the Raptors games. He's great. I watched him through the end of the finals on the Raptors title run in 2019. But nobody calls the game like your own. John Michael, Brad Daugherty, Serena Winters, they eat, sleep, drink, breathe Cleveland Cavaliers. And so, with that said, you always take the home broadcast when you can actually get it. So, you think about it, and it's a no-brainer. Let's talk about the game. First half was nice. It was very nice. The Cavs scored 43 in the second quarter. They set a record with 11 threes in one frame. As a matter of fact, they ended up making 22 for the game. Miami, meanwhile, went 16 of 45. Haywood Highsmith was having himself a night. Kind of surprised we didn't see more Duncan Robinson on their side. Bam was an assist away from a triple-double. And now, I know Davion Mitchell is very strong. Davion Mitchell's got some serious muscle. Okay, but is this elbow that Davion Mitchell keeps throwing, is that actually clean basketball? To me, anytime you have to use your elbow, anytime you make a movement that's outside, so if you're moving your elbow, you're leaving your little box as an offensive player. if you have to use an elbow to get that space, it does not seem clean. Now, this is the playoffs. They're allowing more contact, but it felt like every time down the stretch, every time Miami was doing something with an elbow, with a screen, where they're just shoving guys out of the way and getting nothing called against them. And again, I'm not somebody, anyone that listens to the pod, watches my post games, I don't come on here planning to just talk about the refs, but there was a lot going on. And I don't know what happened that caused it. I'm going to need to rewatch the footage. But there was a play there where Darius Garland got hurt and he went down. And I don't know exactly what happened to do that. Or he didn't go down, but we saw Darius Garland was limping around for the last 2 minutes. He didn't come out. They didn't really stop the action when anything happened. I don't know what happened. It wasn't talked about by Brad or by John at all, but something happened that had Darius Garland limping. Thankfully, it did not cost the Cavs the game. You do hope for sure that Darius is all right. You don't want anything to linger for him. You don't want him to be hurt, out, having to miss any time. So a healthy version of Darius Garland is the one you want, not limping around. But, I mean, Tyler Hero hit some shots. He had 2 turnovers. That number probably should have been 5 or 6. Now, there's just some guys in the league that like to do that extra step in the lane, out of the lane, weaving through traffic, stepping back. That's just basketball now. It's not pretty as a whole. The Cavs don't do that, though. We know that. Donovan doesn't do that. Darius doesn't do that. But whatever. Ethical hoops. What even are ethical hoops? Jalen Brunson and Trae Young and some of these other guys just jumping around and jumping into dudes. Now, those are very good players, but they're certainly exaggerating a lot of this. You think about where the game is at, and Tyler Hero he's not jumping around looking for these calls, but he's certainly got away with a lot. Now, you think about how a game is called, and the Cavs won the free throw battle. So you think, all right, cool. Cavs are shooting more free throws, so it's all right that Miami's physical, right? And we're not going to call it. Because the thing is, they picked up 19 fouls. The Cavs picked up 13. So clearly, but there is definitely something to be said for just winning the game. All that matters at the end of the day, when you think back on the team's playoff run, and the Cavs have championship aspirations. Last year, going up 2-0 in Orlando felt great. This year, going up 2-0 felt like this has to happen. Blowing this game 2 in Cleveland against the Heat would have been very worrisome. You need this is clearly a physical team. And we know that. We knew that coming in. You got to stay with them. You got to stay on those guys. They've got championship pedigree. None of the guys on the roster have won, but they were in the finals 2 years ago with Hero and Bam and Highsmith and Robinson. And Wiggins won his title. Ware's pretty new to this. They got Kyle Anderson, who's been to a lot of playoffs. It's a veteran team. It's not going to come easy. The Cavs, personnel-wise, are equipped to sweep the Heat. My original pick was Cavs in 6. I actually wasn't sure they'd go back 2-0 to Miami. Now, here's the important thing. Saturday at 1 p.m., you just got to get there and you just got to play your game. For 48 minutes, Cleveland, play your game. Be physical. And please, for the love of all that is holy, can we get Evan Mobley the basketball in the fourth quarter? He had 20 points for the day on 10 shots, 6 rebounds, 3 for 6 from deep. Where was he after that? Where was second half Mobley? After they made that 3, get up to 18 points on the day, he scored just 2 more. We need more. Get him the ball. He's a big man. You got to give it to him. Give the ball to Evan Mobley. That's it. Short and sweet today. 10 minutes long. That's what we got. The Cavs are 2-0. The Heat go down. We will see you real soon. Follow along. This is Across the Cavs. Post-game reaction. A 2-0 series lead on Network 216. Peace.